Listen. The Baltimore Ravens, they have to do this one thing to go on a Super Bowl run this year. Look, I'm gonna let y'all think about it. I'm gonna let y'all have that conversation with yourselves. Have it down in the comments while the intro hits, and let's talk about it. What y'all think I'm gonna say? What would y'all say the Ravens got to do to win the Super Bowl this year? I'm talking about we're in week 18, right? We're in week 18, a date with the Steelers for the AFC North. Of course, they gotta win that one. That's obvious. But what is that kind of underlying factor that the Ravens have to take care of in order to win a Super Bowl this year? I got one thing for you. Let me know what y'all think. Get your popcorn, get your drink. Let's do it, my friends. All right, y'all, look, we back once again with the Be More Show. I'm your host, DJ, back once again. Appreciate y'all for tuning in with us, hanging out with us, having these conversations that we often do. Look, I told y'all when I did my rapid recap of the Ravens victory versus the Green Bay Packers. All right, I did that and I said, hey, I got some things I have to say before it's too late. Because, listen, if the Ravens lose this week, this video is irrelevant. This video is practically irrelevant. If the Ravens lose to the Steelers, again, if the Ravens lose to the Steelers, this video is irrelevant. I would say it's going to be deleted. It will not be deleted, but I'm just saying like it's irrelevant at that point, right? Now, it may still be relevant to the future order of the Ravens. But let's talk about it. Listen, I'm going to ask y'all this question and I'm going to let y'all comment down below. What is the one thing that the Ravens have to do to make a Super Bowl run? Listen, I am not the type of fan to cheer for tanking. I'm just not. And I think the Ravens have been good to us in that way. We haven't had to worry too much about tanking to be successful. I am the type that says, hey, we got to compete. We got to compete, right? We got to compete. If the Steelers are on the schedule, we compete. If the Bengals are on the schedule, we compete. Okay? If the Browns are on the schedule, we competing at worst, right? I don't care if there's injuries. I don't care about any of that. If there's a chance to get in the dance, we gonna get it. You know, I'm saying we get in there and we try to bust a couple moves here and there. Okay, that's just me. That's just me. Okay, I know some of y'all out there don't feel the same way, and that's okay. That is completely fine. That is your prerogative. If you feel like the Ravens not making the playoffs, because I know this is a big topic of conversation. If you feel like the Ravens not making the playoffs gives them credence to fire John Harbaugh, hey, look, I'm hoping it happens regardless, or there's a mutual parting of ways regardless. But I'm always gonna wish for the best for the team, right? That's just me. That's just me. And I know, like I said, and this is what I was saying. The topic of conversation is if the Steelers don't win the AFC North, will they fire Mike Tomlin? If the Ravens don't win the AFC North, will they fire John Harbaugh? Like, that's the whole topic of conversation. It's interesting to hear it come from the national media, though. It just is, right? The mainstream media is talking about it, and that's interesting to me because we, shout out to the Ravens content creators. Shout out to all of us out here. We've been talking about this for a while. I always give credit to Hendo and Rogue Pod because he was the one that really brought it up and made me think about it, and I appreciate that. And that's what that's what these spaces are for. That's why my title is the way that it is, so y'all can have a conversation. We can have a conversation together, and we can come back and we can figure it out. But shout out to Hendo because he was the one that made me think about it. I'm like, oh wow, I guess I didn't think about John Harbaugh in that way, right? I mean, I thought the fact that you had longevity meant your legacy was what it was, right? Like, shout out to Raven hanging out with us. But look, the Ravens got to do this one thing. This is, and it's not fire John Harbaugh because that's not realistic. Because I'm talking about winning the Super Bowl this year. Like, I'm not talking about next year. I'm not talking about 5 years from now. I know there's the whole conversation of, well, would the Ravens get rid of John Harbaugh or the Ravens get rid of Lamar Jackson? Like, I know there's that whole conversation right now. I know it's a little bit of infighting in with us as Ravens flock. Anyway, but look, this is what the Ravens got to do right now. Honestly, I mean, they could do it right now. It wouldn't be necessarily difficult for them to do it right now. This is my opinion. right? So, like I said, tax it to me. Don't tax it to anybody else. Because I know it's crazy to even think the Ravens winning the Super Bowl is wild, wild work right in this moment anyway. Like I'm right here with y'all. I get it. Because the Ravens have been so up and down. But I've talked about this before. First off, why can the Ravens win the Super Bowl? Why? Like, what would be the reason why the Ravens would even win the Super Bowl as up and down as they played? Because that's the entire league, the nature of the entire league. We talk about the Packers. The Packers were the top of the darn NFC earlier in this season, and now they're just barely making it into the playoffs. Right? The Bills up and down. The Patriots even up and down. The Broncos, right? Even the top of the top, either you don't trust them or they've been up and down, or they haven't beaten anybody, right? Realistically. So that's kind of the thing. That's kind of the thing going into this whole situation that we got to talk about, because I don't trust anybody in these playoffs right now. I don't trust Buffalo because they're up and down. I don't trust anybody that's currently in the playoffs right now. I don't trust them, right? The Rams were at the top of the NFC, and now the Seahawks are at the top of the NFC. I mean, I might trust the Seahawks a little more, because of discipline, from a discipline perspective. Now, do I trust Sam Darnold to get them to a Super Bowl? No, I just don't. Right? I just don't. Like, I get it. We had Nick Foles do it before. And I understand that guys who may not be upper echelon quarterbacks do win the Super Bowl from time to time, but I just think it's very few and far between. And this might be the few and the far in between. It just might be. But let's get to the point. Look, yeah, I've been beating around the bush for so long. Let's get to the point. The one thing the Ravens have to do, that I think they need to do to win a Super Bowl this year, is it is time to bench Daniel Falele. I'm just saying. All right, look, I think y'all knew this was obvious. I think y'all knew this was coming, right? But I had to make this video before it's too late, and it may not be too late for the future of the Ravens, but to win a Super Bowl, the Ravens have to bench Daniel Falele. It's time, dude. It's time. You have other guys who could take that position. You just do. You got Emory Jones Jr. We know that. Carl Vincent is out there. Honestly, I think Corey Bullock might play better guard than him. I don't know what the heck's going on with Ben Cleveland. Let me make sure that this is right. Let me update my depth chart real quick and just make sure that I'm looking at the right guys. Yeah, I mean, you have depth, and we love to put Patrick McCarry in every possible situation that he possibly can be in. So my question is, speaking of Patrick McCarry, here he is. My question is, why would you not take this chance now? You got a possible chance of winning the Super Bowl. Okay, so he's for Jacksonville. But you got a possible chance of winning the Super Bowl. There's no Chiefs this year. The Bills is probably your toughest proven matchup. Everybody else is kind of fair game, to be honest. We know you can run the football against New England. We know that that's something that can happen. Honestly, you can probably run the football against anybody. So realistically, in terms of opening up this passing game and this passing game being better, to me, in my opinion, if look, I shouldn't be like this, but I am, okay? This is my bold prediction for if the Ravens were to make the decision to bench Daniel Falele. This is my opinion. I think if the Ravens bench Daniel Falele and put, for example, Emory Jones Jr. in, right? Or maybe, okay, so they got Ben Cleveland right behind. That's ridiculous. This is ridiculous, right? Emory Jones Jr. was, early on in the season was listed as a right guard right behind Daniel Falele, and now he's a left guard. But anyway, that's ridiculous. To me, I think Falele is the worst guard, honestly, in the league, but on this team, right? And to me, it's interesting. Ben Cleveland being right behind Daniel Falele is kind of strategic because, well, we don't have anybody that can replace him, guys. So I just, y'all telling me, we've had this conversation before. Y'all telling me Ben Cleveland couldn't outplay Daniel Falele like at all? Y'all crazy. Y'all crazy if y'all think that. Maybe I have to look at the film. Maybe I'm wrong. Y'all think Emory Jones Jr. couldn't outplay Falele right now? Like, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. I think Joseph Noboom could play better right guard as a traditional left tackle than Daniel Falele could right now. That's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. Carson Vincent as well. But it's just very interesting, y'all. It's very interesting. I think this is the move, though. I think this is the move. I think if John Harbaugh could pull the trigger on this move, which I don't think he will, I think he's gonna trust our guys. I think if John Harbaugh pulls the trigger on this move, this is the difference between the Ravens being a true Super Bowl contender and not. I get it. The defense isn't great. The defense is horribly coached. The defense situationally is awful. But what's the difference? This is just my opinion. Now, I think there's two differences. But what's the difference between the Baltimore Ravens in week 1? I mean, weeks really 1 through 4 at least, where they're putting up 30, 35 points, and the Baltimore Ravens right now. One thing is Lamar Jackson's health, obviously. But also is the deterioration of this offensive line. This defense has been bad all year long. They've had, that's the thing. The defense has been bad, but the defense can step up from time to time. So I feel like if you fix the true leaking hole of this offensive line, if you fix that, I think this team becomes a Super Bowl contender immediately. I really do. Because I think if you take Daniel Fall all over the place, Alele, if you take him out of the take him off the roster, take him out of the starting lineup. If you take him out of the starting lineup, I think this entire offensive line gets better. Because explain to me how we feel like Rosengarten, we feel like Voorhees, and we feel like Faalele have all regressed. Right? Explain to me how that's true, but also at the same time, Faalele was bad last year, right? Faalele was bad last year. So let's be honest. That doesn't mean that these other guys haven't regressed, and that doesn't mean that they don't deserve any criticism. But I will say this: that doesn't mean they don't deserve any criticism. But Faalele was already not good. And then you trotted him out there again to be even worse. So everybody else around him gets worse. This is my opinion. Like I said, tax it to me. Don't tax it to anybody else. Tax it to me. This is my opinion. If you take Faalele off of this team right now, number one, he's out of a job. And I don't think he's getting another one. I think he's done in the NFL. If by some miracle he stays on the Ravens roster, it would be crazy. I think he's done after the way he's played this season. I really do. But I will say this. I think you take Faalele out of this lineup, and I think this offensive line makes a 180. I'm not saying they're going to be the best offensive line Lamar Jackson has ever had, because I don't believe that. But I think Faalele's absence helps everybody else. That's just what I think. This is just what I think. What do y'all think, though? Let me know. Y'all got to let me know down below what y'all think. Because to me, I think Faalele is the piece that's messing everything up, right? He is, it's not the cog in the wheel. I'll put it to y'all like this. He's the stick in the wheel that's forcing the wheel to stop, right? When you put, how you want to mess somebody's bike up, so you would put like a tire iron or in any sort of tool, between the spokes, and then they would spin out. That's what I feel like Faalele is doing to this offensive line. I really do, because this league is completely wide open. I really do think that if that switch is made, it'll happen. Now, I'm gonna wrap up. I promise y'all. But I got one more question that I know y'all probably gonna ask me, or one more comment y'all probably gonna say in the comment section. Well, DJ, listen. Why would you take Faalele out in week 18? Wouldn't that not give this offensive line time to gel? Possibly. Yeah. There's some accuracy to that. But what if Daniel Falele was to get hurt? Would you just trot him out there hurt? Probably not. You would probably put the most healthy person on the field. It wouldn't matter if it was week 18. This is just my opinion, though. I don't feel like, and I feel like even John Harbaugh will probably make this excuse. I don't feel like saying that Daniel Falele is our best option and he's been there all year long, so that's why we'll keep him in week 18 and into the playoffs. I honestly don't think, there's sometimes you got to make some tough decisions as a head coach. And I honestly do not believe that that is a valid excuse, because if Daniel Falele was to get hurt, you would be forced to replace him with the reserves that you have. That's just me. That's just my opinion. Look, y'all, this is me. This is me. I'm signing off. What do y'all think, though? Is this the one move that can make, or you know, it's possible? Yes or no? Yes or no? Give me a why or why not down below. Is this the move that could possibly make the Ravens a Super Bowl contender again? Let us know down below. Obviously, there's more that we could do in the offseason, but I'm just not ready yet. Okay, I'm not ready yet. I'm ready to get this victory over the Pittsburgh Steelers, maybe in dominant fashion, let's hope, right? I'm ready to get this victory over the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I'm ready to potentially make a playoff run. All you got to do is go 4-0. That's it. All you got to do is go 4-0. Now, I think also the other thing is, you know, Lamar Jackson, Tyler Huntley situation, that conversation is just crazy that y'all even go that route. But anyway, we'll have that conversation too as well later on in the week. But look, y'all, I definitely hope you guys enjoyed the show, this little New Year's rendition. I gotta let y'all know, though, I appreciate y'all as always. Happy New Year to y'all. It's 2026 already. Like, this year flew by. But we still hanging out. We still together. I appreciate y'all. Y'all definitely been keeping me going, so I appreciate it. But look, y'all, we got to get up out of here. Definitely hope you guys enjoyed the show. Hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you guys on the next episode of the Be More Show. Let me know down below, what's that one thing that the Ravens got to do to win a Super Bowl this year? Look, we going for the upper echelons, okay? Let me know down below, y'all. Look.